What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Friday before Memorial Day. We are so excited to be here with you. We know we've got a pretty huge crew of people who are joining us. Feel free to tell us where are you from, who are you joining us from, and I have a pretty illustrious group. Yes, I used the I word, illustrious. We've got Christy Rowley, one of my favorites. Don't forget the PhD on there. Domo's Director of Data Science. Ben Shine, Domo's SVP of Product. Noah Finberg, he's awesome. This guy, I mean, Christy and Ben are also awesome, but this guy, wow, doing all things developer innovation and enablement. And my good buddy, Jared Lees, Domo's VP of Product and Solution Marketing. We are going to go all in on AI today, my friends. So get ready. Thanks for joining us. Ann Arbor, Tennessee, Florida. Holy cow. Costa Rica, Alabama. Oh, there's our friend Alexis from Hoosick Falls. How we doing? Okay, keep them coming in the comments. We are going to hand it right over to my friend, Ben Shine, to talk about this announcement that we just barely made about Domo's AI service layer. So with that, Ben, take us away.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Happy Friday. I don't know if this should be called a Friday Plus because it's before a long weekend here in the States, right? So really glad to be with you here from our lovely Edina, Minnesota Domo offices. And to talk about AI, both sort of the exciting stuff that Mark said, and we know, there's sort of before GPT in November and after GPT. We, just like all of you, we watch the news. There's lots of people talking about it in the BI space, outside the BI space, in government, everywhere. And so it's certainly on our mind, but part of what we wanted to do is share where our thinking is, share where we're going with this AI services layer next step, but also just look overall, like the role of AI in driving business impact and creating great data experiences, which is really our mission at Domo. This is where Christy will help to, sort of share what we have done, right? AI isn't brand new as of November. How we use it might change, and do that. I did want to shout out to our usual Friday user group. I know they give me a hard time. I'm not as good as calling into those informal user group calls, but they did cancel the call this week so they could all be with us. So welcome those folks that I get to usually see then. Let me just share a little bit where we are, right? So Mark mentioned yesterday, we'll post a link to the blog from Darren about the new AI services layer. We also talked about our earnings call yesterday. So we'll talk a little bit about what that even means, what's available now, what's coming, and then where we go. And so the idea of this AI services layer is really creating an abstraction, right? An abstraction layer that lets us access AI and ML in ways throughout the Domo app platform and throughout the Domo platform overall, right? And what does that mean? So right now, what that means is we have this services layer. Right now, it is wired up to OpenAI using our own accounts, right? Domo's accounts. It has 3 services built in right now. One is text generation. You'll see some of this when Noah demos some bricks we are about to release next week. So text generation, text to beast mode, so calculated fields in Domo, and text to SQL, right? And this is just really the start, right? The idea of taking a little bit of time to step back, create this layer is that we don't know everything that's going to come. We don't know if in a month there's going to be some new great LLM we haven't even heard about, or something new from Bard or from OpenAI, or for someone we haven't even heard about yet, right? And so we wanted to create this services layer so that we have the flexibility to respond to what's happening and give you and empower you to make those decisions, right? AI is also a little scary. You have to be responsible. You have to know what you're doing. You want control of what you're doing. And so I'm really proud of how we're approaching this because I feel it's very much true to the ethos of what I've always loved about Domo, that it gives flexibility to the end user, that we balance low and high code or bring high code resources to low code users. And so that's really exciting. And what I would say about the services layer, and I'll talk a little bit more about where we're going, is, I'm really lucky in my job. I get to stand on the shoulders of amazing engineers across our teams. I just wanted to give a call out to our engineering labs team under my colleague, Matt Payne. They've done a lot of the work to get us here this quickly. In a couple months to a working service, not just an announcement, which was something that's very important to me also as a product leader. And so I was joking last night. If I had more time, I would have got a T-shirt or a hat that said "I Heart Labs" because they're driving a lot of this innovation for us, and I really value having those kinds of resources at our disposal, and really at all your disposal, right? Because they're doing this work so that we can add more value to all of you using Domo and trying to drive your businesses with data. And so big shout out to the labs team throughout this. we don't say it enough. Just add that to the end of every sentence we say is, it's thanks to them and other engineers. Will continue to innovate on this. So those other engineers. So what's going to happen? So right now we have the services layer. It is in beta. So it will be something you can request. We set up a special email, ai@domo.com for questions. I see that. Yeah, we were talking earlier how Christy's background is much better than all of ours. Dr. Rowley, sorry. And it's going to be accessible via bricks or that platform, which Noah will show you. A couple things that are come, immediately in the next few weeks. One is new grants in Domo to help you control which users are allowed to set up AI services and use AI services, which, this is all great, but again, dangerous or can be dangerous. So you need to be able to govern it. And then next month, we'll release a UI for the AI services. And the most immediate impact of that will be that you'll be able to use your own API tokens and endpoints for different AI services, right? It goes back to that flexibility, right? We don't want to create a black box that we tell you exactly which model to use. You don't know which token's being used or where it's going. We want to empower you with that. So that will be coming, and you'll continue to be able to innovate with bricks and et cetera. The thing that's a little bit different about AI services is it is also going to be the foundation for how we develop AI-infused features throughout the product, right? So what do I mean by that? Yes, you'll be able to use from bricks, but as the rest of our engineering squads start digging in and start saying things like, how can AI help me write a beast mode? How can AI help me understand what's going on in a magic job? How can AI help me search data better or add descriptions to a table or search Domo stats? All those things, whether they're in a brick, but if they're even coded into the system, right? So I'm looking at a beast mode and I click a button, all that's going to be up top of this AI services layer. And also in most cases will then give you choice, right? So it might be, hey, sometimes I want to run this summary on GPT-4 and that'll cost you more on your token, right? Because OpenAI has different cost structure for those things. But, or I want to run on something else, or eventually I want to run it on a model managed internally. And so this is that layer that's going to support all that innovation so that even when we release new features, it won't just be this black box. You'll have the control over which model you use when. And the other piece that'll come later in the summer is behind this AI services layer. So right now we're talking really about external models and LLM like OpenAI, accessible with an API endpoint. We'll also be introducing additional model management features, which Christy can touch on a little bit, because a lot of that comes out of the great work her team has already done, but also some of the struggles they've had, right, as they've put out and tried to use AI within Domo. And so that will come, which will allow you to do models internally. It'll allow you to link up to models in places like SageMaker and manage them in Domo and then expose them through the services layer to be used in a brick or to be used in these features. And so I've already talked too much. I think we will be able to, look at all this. And so, Alexis, I saw your question just there. These tokens are not our tokens, right? These tokens are going to be with the third party. So it's not even about Domo tokens, right? This is separate, but we could certainly look at making sure we have a Domo stat that shows what's been set up in AI services as well.
Hey, Ben, I mean, we'd be remiss if we didn't call out David Will's comment there about he's most excited to never have to write code again. That's not exactly where we're going, but
yes. I am too, right? Mohammed's in Rapid City. I didn't even know that. Look at that. Who knew? Anyways, that's the vision. And some of this, again, some of this you can use right now. You'll see some of those examples from Noah. Some of it will be coming in the next months as we figure this out. Again, still in beta, so figuring out exactly how it comes to life, which is part of why we have beta, so we can learn from all of you great users. But we did want to take a minute before we get to showing some of these bricks using the AI services layer to have Dr. Rowley talk to us about both the history of AI, the history of AI at Domo, how we've used it in the past, some awesome things her team's been doing to try to, accelerate the use of AI and data science techniques within Domo, and then we'll go on to Noah sharing more about what we're doing with the bricks and AI services.
Hey, Christy, just because it's really fun for me to be able to relegate people and push them off the screen, if it's kind of like a power move for me, I'm going to do that to everyone, including myself. So take it.
All right. Thanks, Ben. This is so exciting. And one of the reasons that I'm excited about this in particular is Domo and AI have been best buddies for a very long time. And this just gives us a new avenue where we can collaborate and coordinate Domo and build AI infrastructure into Domo. So I wanted to talk a little bit about where we've been, where we're going, and what AI is. I think this is an important question. And of course, to answer this very important question, we went to ChatGPT and asked for 5 bullet points on AI. And here's what we got. It's actually pretty good. The most important thing, though, is AI is just a very general term. It's an umbrella term that is used to describe a whole bunch of things. So anytime we have a computer that is programmed to do a task fairly automatically, with or without a human in the loop, that could be considered AI. And so a lot of what we've been doing at Domo from the very outset of the creation of Domo is, in fact, AI. It's trying to make difficult tasks easier and more automated with the system of commands that we feed to a computer. This happens across industries, and it's an umbrella term for a lot of things like machine learning, data science, robotics, computer vision, natural language processing. All of those are forms of AI. And here at Domo, we really care about our customers' data journeys. And we want them to go as far as they possibly can on this data journey. And we typically think of AI as being relegated to more complex things like predictive modeling and prescriptive analytics. But in reality, AI can happen at any place in the data journey. And we want to make sure that we have access to the cool things about AI and the cool new features that are always being developed in AI in every aspect of the platform. And in some ways, we've been doing this for a long time. My team, the data science team at Domo, we work with customers on a regular basis who are using AI modeling to enhance their businesses. So I'm just going to go over a handful of those, and I'll go over it relatively high level and relatively quickly. We do have other resources if you want to dive deeper into any of these use cases. We have several examples already out there, and we're happy to share them with you. The first one that I want to talk to you about is a resort management company. You might know that resorts are seasonal. They are affected by the weather. And one of the most difficult challenges is staffing, because you may or may not know when your busy times are going to be exactly. So you don't want to overstaff and pay people that you don't need to be paying. You don't want to understaff and give your customers a really bad experience. So that was a difficult challenge to solve for. We were able to build some AI models that use the things that are easy to understand, like seasonality and holidays and things like that, and more difficult things like weather and weather forecasting, to make sure that staffing was improved for the result, or for this resort. We also built this flexibly so the models can adjust based on the successes and the failures that you see as the model is working in production. So that's one example of AI that our customers are doing right now. And we've got lots of customers doing AI. Same thing for retailers. We are working with a retailer, a high fashion retailer that specializes in luxury brands, and they have a customer churn issue. And even defining customers is difficult for luxury brands, because you've got customers that save up for a really long time to buy one thing, and then you've got customers who come back every week to buy something new. Those are very different types of customers, and understanding that customer journey and providing personalized outreach and targeted marketing strategies are really difficult. But through AI, we were able to solve for that problem and make that process more efficient. We have similar examples through healthcare revenue management companies. They, as you can envision, they are the intermediaries for collecting the revenue associated with healthcare claims. And lots of things can go right and wrong in healthcare claims because there's a lot of human error in that process. So forecasting can be tricky, but with AI, we can improve that forecasting, and we can improve the way that we understand the errors and manage the errors. And therefore we get really good revenue forecasts, and therefore more ability to plan ahead with the revenue that you're going to have as a business, and then also report that to your customers. So all ways that AI can and already is benefiting customers at Domo. The AI services layer, though, is awesome. It's going to expedite and enhance the whole data experience that you'll have at Domo by making these things easier. So let's envision what's possible. I think David Will said, "I can't wait to not write code anymore." Well, I'm with you there. I don't know how far we are in the future, but we can envision this future very far in the future, where maybe we go into Domo and we say, what's the most important metric for my business? And a chatbot tells us, and then we explain, well, I want to see that metric for the past 2 years, and then I want you to forecast out the next 4 months. That's a possibility. That's something that we definitely want to work towards. However, we don't want things like the popular AI hallucinations to take place in any form of running your business. So we're going to do that cautiously and with a lot of thought. What's on our roadmap? As Ben explained, we want to keep Domo modular, flexible, and agnostic. So we want you to be able to connect into whatever AI-focused development you want to do, both inside and outside the Domo platform, in ways that enhance your Domo experience. And that's really what we're trying to do. And in many ways, we've already done it. So I want to tell you and show you what we've already done. Model management is something that we absolutely are in love with at Domo. It's going to bring development, testing, deployment, production, and model monitoring right at your fingertips, which we can already do. Within the next few months, we're also going to be able to store, reference, and deploy models both inside and outside Domo. And that includes some of those large language models, or some of those models that you might want to reference or leverage for other actions, both inside and outside Domo. So those are things that are really important that we're looking forward to in the very near future. In the meantime, my team has built accelerators, which is also AI. And we're able to do that through the AI services layer and through Jupyter Workspaces. So what's an accelerator? This is a tool to simplify, streamline, automate, and integrate different parts of the data management process. Automation is key. We want to automate all the boring stuff so that you can get to data and insights much quicker. I want to show you today our data profiler, our data anonymizer, and our model insights, most of which are available today and or will be available in the coming weeks on developer.domo.com. And we'll share a link in the chat to exactly the resources. You go to developer, you search for accelerators, and you'll be able to find them. They're free. You can use them. You can use them now. You do need to use them in Jupyter Workspaces. So that's the caveat there. Let me give you an example of what we've been working on and what is available. We have a data profiler. So you give the data profiler a couple of bits of information, like a data set and a target variable that you're interested in. And it will populate through the Jupyter interface with just a few clicks of a few buttons. It will populate a dashboard that will allow you to see distributions of your variables, correlations among your variables, and assess the quality of your data in terms of missingness and other things that might be concerning in a data set. You can run this on any data set in Domo right now, today. It's great. Saves us tons of time. You never actually interface with the analyzer. We'll just populate these automatically. And it's a huge time saver. It takes about 2 or 3 minutes to run on a data set and saves you tons of time. So this is a way that we're leveraging AI today. We also have a data anonymizer. So you can imagine a situation where you have sensitive data that you might not want to share with everyone, or you might not want everyone in your Domo instance to have access to, but you want them to be able to understand relationships in the data. So we've created a data anonymizer that will completely anonymize the data, so it's no longer your real data anymore. However, it maintains all the relationships in your original data set. So all the correlations are maintained. The relationships from variable to variable are maintained. Those sorts of things are maintained in the data set. So it's still a functional data set. Also available on developer.domo.com. Our last one, this one will be available in the coming weeks, is our Model Insights Accelerator. So for you data scientists out there, if you have a model that you like and you want to deploy, super easy. After you've trained your model, after you have it ready to go, you feed the accelerator insights about your model, what model you want to reference, what data sets you want to reference, and it will populate all of the model monitoring dashboards and a lot of the insights dashboards without you ever interacting with the analyzer again. So you don't have to be a wizard at using Domo's card building experience or Domo's analyzer to build these really complicated and interesting cards that will help you monitor your model's performance, monitor drift, get alerts when the model is drifting, or build cards around feature analysis or other sorts of things. It will just do it for you automatically, all within a few clicks of a few buttons. And I think it takes about 2 minutes to run, depending on the size of the model. So really fast, really accelerated. And these are the things we're very much looking forward to sharing with you and allowing you to enjoy and join us on our AI journey at Domo. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Rowley's coming in hot, everybody. Holy cow. People are talking about the wall. BVK, who is a literal legend in the Domo community, is talking about how cool it is. We want to hear in the comments. Drop them down there. What are you going to build, change, solve right now? Oh, and Jason Altenberg, we can't keep going without taking his question. Let's go, Christy. Christy, with the resort model, was snowpack a data point?
Yes, it was.
Jason coming in with the softballs for us. Thank you very much. Ben, take us home.
We had, I'll give it to you. I don't know how to post on all the channels, Mark. I'm too. But we do have a blog post that McWayne did last month too on Domo and Data with all the snowpack as well. If you want to play with that, we'll put that out there as well. You want me to move it along here, Mark?
Let's keep it going.
The one thing I'll just call out, I know people have been asking some questions and whatnot. Some questions about the partner ecosystem. This is definitely part of it, but I do want to caution. I know my good friend Alexis was in her own special bitter self sometimes, or realistic self, and made a comment about should an app store agreement and partnership rev share, which is not a topic we're going to do here. But I just want to be clear that this is a little bit different than apps, as much as we're doing a lot to make it easier to monetize apps and all that stuff. I'm glad I got a haha from Alexis and not a screw you, as it's probably not allowed to say on these. Oh well, it's live, right? But right, the idea here is like you are calling. You can move a model into Domo, or you can do like what Christy's team did and have a Jupyter package, which hopefully eventually we'll be able to do those in the App Store as well. But this is really like part of what Noah's going to show is it's calling in external services using your token to be able to access it, right? So it actually has nothing to do directly with the App Store or with Domo. It's you have already hosted and set up the way OpenAI has. You created your own services, your own logic that you want to be able to expose within the Domo platform responsibly, of course. Then you'll be able to do right. That all you need is the token and the endpoint, or however you set it up. So it is very interesting as well. And so with that, we want to make sure we show you again. I want to emphasize like we're like at this little like dipping the toenail, not even the toe, into the water, right? Building the foundation, but did want to show that this AI services layer is working. Again, AI@domo.com if you're interested in testing it out. We do hope, crossing off a couple last security things, but to have these bricks published early next week so that you can play around with them and try them again until sometime a little bit after our June release. You'll just be able to use them. They use our API token to OpenAI. In June, you'll be able to set them up on your own. But we want to start getting out and start looking at ideas of how you can use it. So if you turn it over to Noah, he'll show you how these bricks work. We start infusing AI and GPT into the Domo ecosystem.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. Yeah, I'm really excited about this. Just all of what it unlocks for not only Domo product to build on top of, but also for our developer ecosystem, for our customers and our partners, to start to be able to leverage, all these AI models as they come out, directly in their Domo experience. So what I want to show are two bricks that Spencer Neese and I built, to demonstrate how you can leverage the AI services layer. Before I go into these, just a reminder that Ben also referenced. If you do want to get access to this, email ai@domo.com. We'll help you get set up there. So this first brick is pretty simple. It's just an example of asking GPT a question and storing the response, which you can sync back to a data set. Ben actually set this up in our own Domo instance and let everyone at Domo ask questions of GPT, and then built a bunch of analytics around what people were asking, kind of showing everyone, like letting everyone see what other people were asking. It was a really nice crowdsourced way to get GPT into a Domo brick. What this looks like in practice is you ask GPT something, and again, this data is leaving Domo in this case. Although when we do, release the support for hosting your own models in Domo, in this AI services layer, there'll be the option to, never have your data leave Domo. But say I ask, what is AI? It's going to send the request to OpenAI through our AI services layer. So it's running securely, and then it should populate the response in the background there. You just give it a second. Yeah. So
I was going to say, Noah, while that's running, but finish this, and then I'm going to have Ben take a question for us.
Sure. Yeah. So you can see that, we've successfully leveraged GPT to answer our question. I wanted to show what this looks like under the hood, so you can get a sense for, in the brick that will be released next week, what's going on here. So I'm going to just go down to this function here where we're actually, taking a prompt and calling GPT. And I want to highlight this bit here where we're hitting our generation endpoint internally to go out and hit in the AI services layer to do text to text generation. As Ben said, we have two additional services available: text to SQL and text to beast mode, that will be available as well. And as we increase support for additional models, you'll be able to swap in and out. I want to use OpenAI, or I want to use Bard, or I want to use a Hugging Face model, or something that is internal to my company, or that's stored in Domo itself. So this just gives us the flexibility to build solutions and bricks on top of all of these amazing AI services that are being rapidly released, and where the ecosystem is changing. Before I go to the next brick, I know, Mark, you wanted to kind of ask a question.
Yeah, why don't you pull up the next brick, and I'm gonna pull a fast one on our friend Dr. Rowley here. Did you see, Christy, this? I say Christy, and then I feel like maybe I'm breaking rules that I'm not supposed to.
Christy's good. I'm Christy. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Christy. Andrew has this question. I'm curious to hear about any experimentation Domo might have done to leverage LLMs for automatic semantic layer generation. Any anecdotal results? Have you done anything, or any thoughts from you?
Oh, I have many, many, many thoughts. So it's beyond the thought stage. We're looking into that, but I think that's one of the important things that AI can do for us, is help automate some of those sorts of things that are, it's just not fun. It's just not the fun part of working with data. And to do that in a way that is meaningful and easy is definitely on our mind.
Awesome. Noah, take it away.
Yeah, that's a great segue into this brick, actually, which is a way to automatically generate descriptions for data sets based on the schema. So what this brick does here is let you search through all your data sets in Domo. So I'm going to search for Billboard, because I know Ben has done a lot of analysis of music, and in particular Taylor Swift data. and I'm going to select a data set here. So I'm going to pick this Billboard combined Hot 100, and I'll just open that up. I'll open that up here. And you can see there's no description. So, okay, it's nice. The title is actually pretty descriptive. So good job, Ben. But maybe we want a little more detail in the description of the data set. So if you click add auto description, it'll give you a nice warning and say, hey, just so you know, the schema is going to OpenAI in this case. No data is actually going there, but the schema itself of the data set will go. You click continue, it will generate a description from OpenAI. And if it'll put the description back in this input field, which lets you edit it. So if it's not exactly what you want or it's not accurate, right? We have this constant risk of hallucination with LLMs. So we always want to give our users control to be able to, have human in the loop, make sure that what's actually being generated is accurate. So I'm going to edit this a little bit and say, okay, I don't really need this data set, what it's named. And then I'll click save, and it will update the data set description. And if I go back over to this data set, or I can even just refresh this page, you can see that I've now automatically generated a useful description of the data set itself. So this is really exciting. It's just like Ben said, the tip of the iceberg for what we can do with Domo and these new AI service layer components. And so as you guys have ideas, I would love to crowdsource, suggestions for types of things we could build like this into bricks that we could expose for the community, trainings that we could run, just to help enable you guys, start to leverage AI in Domo in a secure way. So with that, I hope that, demonstrated a little bit of how this can work, and what will be accessible to you guys hopefully early next week in the form of bricks.
No, and obviously, right, I think these are layers, right? Right now via bricks, eventually via other features in the product, like in beast mode or in the data set screen, right? So the goal is this is the foundation that all of our engineers are going to be using as we find ways to infuse AI to make the platform easier to use, make it easier for someone who doesn't understand SQL to write SQL or write a beast mode, all those things. A couple things based on questions and to call out. One is I know Sam, my good friend Sam from Rhode Island, had a question about SSO. I think we have to figure out exactly. We can take it offline, Sam. I don't know exactly where that would go relative to the AI services layer, because I think a lot of these services now are just token based. But certainly, right, part of this beta is to figure out what are the unique challenges relative to security, other things. And so happy to find ways to connect you with the labs team. I know Alexis also said, like, of course, we will get this as soon as we're ready the next week or whatever. We'll get this enabled on the community instance. We can load in the bricks. We can, have Noah set them up or make people owners or let people play with them. So that's fine. I will call out, and I think we all know this, right? There's OpenAI, right? So all this right now is built on OpenAI, has throttling rules, has limit rules, all those things. And so right now we're all wiring into a single account. And that's part of why, again, it sounds great to say we're all going to wire in, and yes, we can, work to increase our limits, but having that ability to use your own token, use your own account will help balance that, right, across, everyone that's using it. And so that's also part of why we want to keep it flexible. But so we might see that. And we've actually, it's what Scott, I think one of the screenshots we've done recently or mocks was showing descriptions, auto-generate descriptions. Because look, even if it's 90% great, right? Like Noah was saying, go change it and tweak it however you need, and go and do that. So it's really exciting and part of that. So I think that's there, Scott. Anything else in the questions? Community instance, someone has to drop, they're going to share with their team. Other things, yeah. Look, I mean, I think there's a lot of ideas. I think our long-term vision is like obviously some of this can become more chat infused Domo. You talk with Domo. The main interface in Domo might be just a chat, and the rest of a lot of Domo is more about configuration for that single experience or a couple different experiences. So we'll have to see where it goes. But I'm pretty confident that we're doing this the right way. We're doing it in a foundational way, in a secure way, in a flexible way. I think a lot of the people from the user group know, like I don't like black holes. I don't like feeling like we're dictating exactly how tools are going to be used by our customer base. I think the power of Domo is when you're all empowered to understand your business, understand your security and governance requirements, and so that makes me really proud of how we've done this. So, any additional questions?
Sorry, I had a surprise visitor that stopped by. One who tends to do that. Some of you know who that might be. Anything else that we want to bring in here? Oh, look, everyone. Hey, it feels right just to take a pause here for a minute and say, hey, Josh James, do you want to say hi to some people from around the globe?
This is not me. This is AI me.
This is AI Josh, everyone. Just stopping by to say hi.
All the offices I keep walking by, everyone's on, so I thought I'd at least say hola.
Thanks, Josh.
All right.
Okay,
next question on here. Zach, you're saying, can we have the AI also suggest color hex codes and schemas?
No, I mean, I think we have actually thought about, I mean, not just that, right? Like eventually back to like, how do we make it easier? Hey, help me build a page that has key metrics I care about marketing, make sure that it has purple tones and that the main card is one of these 3 metrics, right? So that's definitely on the table. I will say one of the interesting things in this journey is it has helped us, rethink even some of the foundational structure of Domo, right? So it's not, yes, it's great. How do we have AI inject? But we have to think about like, well, how are cards constructed? Do we have an easy way to generate a card? Which then also leads to things like that everyone here I know has asked about, like, could I see like the code view of a card to copy something out, right? Or can I use GPT to create a view because I don't know SQL. I want a complicated SQL and then I have a SQL view of a view, right? So I think all those, right? There is that motion of content creation. There's a motion of content discovery. There's a motion of content and metadata enrichment, right? These are all motions that will come in different parts of the platform, which is why we wanted this flexible foundation, because we didn't want, when this first started, a lot of it was like, I'm just going to go. Everyone's excited about it. And so, we might have had one engineering team in charge of beast modes go and wire up to OpenAI to do it here, and then another engineering team over there. And I'll be honest, like it was a little bit of a, right, with all that excitement, like we want our engineers excited about new technology, but how do we say, well, let's just take 1 second, just 1 second, it's been quick, so that we're all aligned, so we're not building 8 different ways to integrate with AI, right? That's a really good idea too, Greg from Domo of toolkit automations. I think Matt's still on, right? Of like, hey, build me this PDP policy across these customers. I'd like to try in the coming weeks to do a brick or a quick start about on top of Domo stats, right? We give Alexis a little. Alexis is our major fan of Domo stats, right? Like, could I say, hey, how many people have logged into Domo the last 5 days? What are my most popular cards? All those things. So, yeah, I know that there was another announcement yesterday with some of that idea too of ETL and data flow summaries, right? Same thing, like, hey, and actually the comment, one of my former employees from Target who now works for me said, oh, I could use that so that I can understand those crazy data flows that are still left over from when Ben worked here. So, right, like tell me what the heck is this data flow doing that Ben did? I can't understand it.
That's never happened, Ben.
Yes,
never.
The inside the brain of Ben is never a that's like a 5-hour live stream, probably including my wife as well and my kids. It can be very, very interesting, but a little scary probably.
So make sure, everyone, as you know, we do these community meetups once a month. And coming up on June 20th, Noah Finberg may be digging into some more bricks and such. So there's the link in the comments. Go dig in. Any other last minute questions? Throw them up now. It's not every day you get Christy, Ben, and Noah on here just ready to answer your easiest questions. Okay, everyone, we are super excited. Ben, wrap us up here and let's go home.
Yeah, no, we are excited. Look, I think we're not ignorant to what's going around us, right? There is so much buzz, but again, I want to be true to Domo. I want to be true to you guys as our users and customers, and I want to use this great new technology responsibly in impactful ways. So hopefully you're seeing that. Hopefully you understand that, that's why we're taking this approach, but that I think the long-term ability of what we can do together, the data experiences, the business impact we can have, I'm really excited to how much we can do and how efficient we can all be. So thanks for joining us in the States. I know it's not all, I don't want to be US centric. The people in the States have a great long weekend. People overseas enjoy not being bugged by your colleagues in the States on Monday, which is probably a gift in and of itself. And just really look forward to hearing more on this from us.
Hey, Ben, can we take a minute and just pause for this unnamed LinkedIn user that we need a Ben GPT app? Because I feel like we could do some really, really fun things with that.
It could be. We'll see, right? So
awesome. Thanks everybody for joining us. Go join the community forum. If you haven't done it yet, you're behind the 8 ball, but there's still time. There's still time. Go get involved. We're so excited about the cool things that are happening with our partners, with our community ecosystem, and so many other things. Have a good weekend. Talk to you soon.